Hey everyone! Today we're going to explore a really cool piece of code that's going to make our lives as developers a lot easier, especially when dealing with forms in React applications. Imagine you need to create a contact form where users can submit their details like their title, name, email, and phone number. It sounds straightforward, right? But there's a catch. We want to ensure all the information entered is valid. For instance, the email should look like an email, and the phone number should follow a specific format, especially if we're targeting users from a specific region like the UK. This is where our code comes in handy. We're using two fantastic libraries, Formik and Yup, to streamline the process. Formik helps us manage form states, handle submissions, and more without the boilerplate. Yup, on the other hand, allows us to declare a schema for our form data, providing validations out of the box. This means less time worrying about the nitty-gritty of form validation and more time focusing on creating an awesome user experience. But why is this useful, you might wonder? Well, it not only saves us a ton of development time, but also helps in creating more reliable and user-friendly forms. Ensuring data integrity right from the front and can significantly reduce potential errors and improve the overall quality of data we collect. Plus, it makes our application more professional and trustworthy to users. Now let's dive into the code and see how all of this magic happens. Let's break down our React component that uses Formik and Yup for creating and validating a contact form, one step at a time. In this first step, we import React, which is the backbone of our component. We then bring in Formik field form and error message from the Formik library. These are essential for creating the form, managing its state, and handling validation errors. Yup is imported to define a schema for our form data, which will allow us to validate the form fields against specific rules. Here, we define a validation schema using Yup. This schema object dictates the rules for each field in our form. They must be strings, some must match specific patterns, like our UK phone number regex, and all are required fields. The required method not only makes a field mandatory, but also allows us to specify a custom error message if the field is left empty. The email method validates the email address, and the matches method checks the telephone number against a regex pattern for UK phone numbers, ensuring it's in a valid format. Before users interact with the form, it needs to have initial values. This object defines the starting state for each field in our form. Initially, all fields are set to an empty string, indicating that no data has been entered yet. This function handles the form submission. It's designed to be asynchronous, allowing for potential API calls to a server. Inside, we simulate form submission by logging the values to the console and displaying a success message. In a real-world scenario, this is where you'd include the API call to submit the form data. The try-catch block ensures that any errors during submission are caught and handled gracefully. After the form is submitted, or if an error occurs, we reset the form and set is submitting to false to re-enable the submit button. Within the Formik component, we pass the initial values, our validation schema, and the submit handler function. Formik uses these to manage the form's state, perform validation against the schema, and handle the submission process. Inside the Formik component's child function, we return a form component that automatically hooks into Formik's handle submit method. Each field in the form is created using the field component, which is connected to Formik's state management. We use the error message component to display validation errors, which show up if a field's validation rule is violated. Labels are provided for accessibility and to indicate to the user what each field represents. The submit button is disabled while the form is submitting, preventing duplicate submissions. By following these steps, we've created a robust contact form that validates user input against a set of predefined rules, handles submissions gracefully, and provides feedback to the user. This approach streamlines form handling in React applications, making it easier to manage form state and validation logic while improving the overall user experience. As we wrap up today's tutorial, it's essential to understand how the piece of code we've just walked through fits into the larger picture of web development using JavaScript technologies. This contact form example, leveraging the power of React, Formik, and Yup, serves as a foundational block in building interactive and user-friendly web applications. The simplicity and reusability of this code are its strongest assets, making it a valuable tool for any web developer's arsenal. In the context of a bigger application, Components like the one we've created can be customized and reused across multiple parts of an application, ensuring consistency and reducing the amount of code that needs to be written from scratch. This not only speeds up the development process, but also helps in maintaining and updating the application with less effort. The use of libraries like Formik and Yup significantly simplifies the process of form handling and validation, which are common yet critical aspects of web development. These tools abstract away much of the boilerplate code associated with forms, allowing developers to focus more on building the unique features of their applications. Moreover, integrating this form component into a larger application is straightforward. Whether you're developing a single-page application, SPA, with React or a more complex web application with multiple user interaction points, the principles of component-based architecture in React enable you to plug this form in wherever it's needed. The validation schema defined with Yup ensures that the data collected through the form meets the application's requirements, enhancing the application's reliability and user trust. Remember, the key to successful web development lies in understanding the tools and libraries at your disposal and knowing how to combine them effectively to solve the problem at hand. By mastering these technologies, you can build applications that are not only functional and reliable, but also delightful to use. Thanks for watching, everyone, and don't worry if you missed anything. We've added a link to the source code in the description. If you found this video to be helpful, please like and subscribe for more of the same. Thanks again. And remember, we're always learning, so keep coding, keep exploring, and keep building amazing web applications.